to Yo Chico podcast. K Shami is our guest. Thanks for doing this, dude.
Of
Appreciate
course,
it.
man.
I guess we heard a lot about you. You mentioned a lot.
We we've been talking for a while now, trying to get this done, but it took forever.
Yeah.
But here we are. The principal meets the janitor,
that's
alluding
that's
to
a
the
funny
joke.
story. Yeah, that's a funny story though. But before we get to the story, I want you to just give us a little bit of your background. Like how'd you get here?
Sure. How about we start with how you first came across me? What was it? Was it a video? Was it Mitchell?
Yeah, well, that's what I just said. That's something that if you want to start with that, we can start with that. So me and Mitchell were in this trip with my van, right? So we're just traveling across the country, and then Mitchell came up with all those ideas about like we gotta go do TikTok, gotta do TikTok, gotta do TikTok. I was like, okay, let's
Smart,
fucking do
yeah.
TikTok. And then we started doing TikTok and we started going live, and then like the word Mogwarts always came along. I don't know anything about what's the name of the movie Harry Potter.
Looksmaxing?
No,
Oh, sorry,
Harry Potter.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about Harry Potter.
Hogwarts, yeah.
I don't know anything, but like Mitchell is a good Asian. No, I'm joking. Mitchell is very into Harry Potter. Very into.
I'm not. I'm really
Dude.
not.
Yeah, you
Honestly,
are.
Mitchell, I don't blame you, man. I used to be into Harry Potter. Like I was like a big Harry Potter fan when I was young.
To be honest, I had no idea what it was, and then actually the guy that was on the trip with us, Robin, was like, Mogwarts, that's so funny. It's like Hogwarts, but Mog. And then I was like, okay, first, me and Chico don't know what Mog is, and then we got into it, and people kept saying Mogwarts, more like every post he was doing was like Mogwarts, and then we were like, who what is Mogwarts? And then when we went on,
we didn't ask what's Mogwarts. We just thought was like, okay, people
said it.
Yeah, people are taking Hogwarts and they're making Mogwarts and just like making like, okay, but why? And then one time we were on a live and then we made a joke. Like we had no idea. We'd have never heard about you before. Like the name K Shami I have never heard, at least.
Yeah, I don't blame you. It was the comments that kept saying Mogwarts, and that's what they did with my videos, which is why I like kind of embodied it.
Yeah,
so,
and then Mitchell made a joke and it was like, oh yeah, Mogwarts. So yeah, I think I started the joke. I was like, oh yeah, I'm the director of Mogwarts, and like and Mitchell is the principal,
Vice president.
whatever. Yeah, and I started making this joke just because it's like, okay, if you guys keep saying this shit, fuck it. And then you came along, and then you created those posts, and you're like, oh shit. And then I think you send a message to Mitchell and say like, hey Mitchell, no, I'm actually the creator of Mogwarts or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know the message. I haven't
the
seen
details too much. Yeah, I mean, this was a while back. This was like 2 months ago. So
yeah, but then Mitchell told me that. I was like, hey, there's this dude that it's saying that he created Mogwarts, and I was like, nah, shut the fuck up. This is all bullshit. But like I didn't took it serious at all. So I was kind of like every live that I was doing, I already knew about your existence, I already knew about all that, but I didn't took much attention, or I didn't even care that much. So I started making little jokes, and then you start kind of like pumping up.
I was very opportunistic when it came to that stuff.
Very.
And you didn't blame me for it, so yeah.
No, I thought it was funny
because of that. So
yeah, I thought the whole thing was funny, to be honest. Like I guess that was your intention. You're not trying to be. I mean, sometimes I could like when I was watching your edits, sometimes I would feel a little type of way, kind of like, oh, come on, man, seriously.
Like, what the heck? Yeah, honestly, I didn't want it for it. Like, I wish it was never like that, and I'd hate for that to be the outcome. And I'm glad that we reached out, and I made it clear that it was a joke. I never, there was no hatred between me.
No, yeah. The moment I start talking with you, well, a lot of people hesitated. A lot of people made me hesitate. Like Mitchell, he was kind of, you sure? You want to like a lot like agents. Because
we never know the outcome and the intention until we actually talk to the person.
Of course, I mean, you're trying to judge the character that I am through the content that I make, but that content isn't who I am. So
yeah,
there's a bit of a disparity. Whereas Chico's a very open book on social media. He is who he is. You know, like he's himself. My content isn't exactly me. I wish I could be posting other things, show a bit more of myself, but people aren't really interested to know. And which is why I'm very grateful for this opportunity, because I'm able to share things that people don't know about me. So hopefully I can start being a bit more like Chico. Yeah.
That's exactly what I wanted to do, because I was like, wait, like, you know, this dude is doing all those videos that's very, you know, like I don't even know how to explain it, but it's like, you know, there's a lot of opportunistic videos, or there's a lot of videos that show like beauty and like how you were before, you know, the whole like looksmaxing community. That's what they engage on it, right? So that's what you want to show them. But then when I start talking with you, it was like, wait, this is like, he's a cool dude, you know, like his because the way you portray yourself on social media, it sounds like you're a dick, or not even like just sounds like you're.
I honestly don't blame you. I don't blame you. It's just how it is, like on social media, and there were times where I do post every now and then things that aren't related to looksmaxing, that aren't related to my niche, especially on my second account. But there's only so much that I can do, and which is why I'm here now. And honestly, you were asking like how I came to be who I am, and really it started with I was on TikTok just for fun at the time, posting videos very casually, and then people started asking me about my past. They were like, "You look different before. What changed?" Especially people from my school, and I started sharing those photos because I documented the whole journey, and people wanted more. They were like, "What did you do? How did you do this?" And I started making routine videos. And this was before looksmaxing was ever a thing, which is why it gets on my nerve. It itches me the wrong way when people tell me like, "Oh, this guy's like milking looksmaxing," is because I was like the first to really post about improving the face, the hair, things that men really don't really care about. Just all content revolving around presenting yourself better. And looksmaxing came about as a trend. And honestly, a part of me was like not posting or saying the word looksmaxing because I didn't want it to become trending because of the negative side. You were talking about how it's impacting kids and whatnot, and I completely agree. There's always a negative side to every community, and looksmaxing community is definitely one of those great examples of seeing people going from just self-care and improving themselves to this really toxic side that's putting other people down. And with my content, there's definitely going to be some people that aren't reacting well to it. You know, people that might be insecure from the videos that I post and putting themselves in a really bad place. But that's really not what I intend to do.
Yeah, I feel like the what could be like what could be portrayed as something that it's negative is because it's a lot of judgment involved in looksmaxing. It's not something that like if it was only like a kind of like, oh, I'm gonna make you look better, or like I will give you like ways so you can like feel that you look better, or like just like feel good about yourself, right? If it's something just like tips and things like that, if it was just that, it's one thing. But when it involves like oh, you look like this, or you're rated, you like when you start rating people, or when you start like pointing fingers where people look bad and where they can look better, but like some of those points are almost impossible for them to change it. When it start like being a lot of judgmental like this, I think it can be negative. That's where it can be negative, because a lot of guys out there, they see it like, oh my god, my score is so bad, I will never be able to like be a looksmaxer, whatever, you know, and then I have to do all those improvements, and a lot of those improvements are just impossible to get, and then they just go in a down, no, you know, they go downhill and down spiral. It just doesn't work. But for a lot of guys, you do, you know, for you it did, right? Like that's kind of
I think you might be referring a bit to the videos where I like show people's ratings and I tell them what to improve and things like that.
I saw some of those. I guess I saw some of those and I used some of those, but like most of the looksmax community like that I saw, it has a lot of judgment. Like there's a lot of like, oh, even the mog community, kind of like I mog you, you don't mog. Like it's almost like a competition, right?
Are you aware of soft maxing and hard maxing?
I'm not. That's why you're here.
Okay.
We're not aware of anything. So
okay, so To give you
Yeah.
a picture of how this all came together, I never knew about looksmaxing my whole life. 2017, I might have heard the word from my friend because I was going to the gym and he was talking about Ziz and his brother. I used to idolize the good aspects of Ziz like anyone else at the time, back before he was even trending. This was 2017. And then a couple of years
Wait, who's
later,
this? Sorry. Who
have
are
you heard of the
talking about?
bodybuilder? He has like tats and hair that's like kind of spiky, and he does this
Yeah,
pose.
yeah.
That's Z's. He's like the founder of bodybuilding aesthetics. Yeah, he basically preaches of being yourself, right? He didn't really have a good history with the things that he used to do. He used to party a lot and abuse all kinds of substances, but we kind of negate these things and ignore them and mitigate them and look at the positives, which is what I was doing at the time. So that's how I heard the term looksmaxing. Fast forward, after I posted my transformation video, people were appalled. They were shocked by the results, and they were like, "This guy's natural. This guy's unnatural. This guy's done surgery and all the sort." Which, as an Arab at the age of 18 in the Middle East and a Muslim, like doing surgery is like a crazy thing, especially with my parents. So I was like, what the heck? So I go to the forums and I'm looking through, and then I saw like people were angry at the fact that I was bringing attention to looksmaxing. And so ever since I skimmed the community and I learned the things that they talk about. And I had known about it in 2022, late 2022. Didn't post about the word looksmax at all because I didn't want it to be a trend. A TikToker makes a video about it, got some traction, people start posting about it. Now it's trending. I don't think it's gonna stay trending for too long, but right after that came about the videos that you're talking about, where I'm like giving these people ratings and whatnot. Yeah, a lot of it that I do is soft maxing, which is why I brought it up. Soft maxing is where you change certain aspects of your appearance without going through surgery or any extreme things, no substances and whatnot. Maybe finasteride, Accutane, that's kind of like in the middle ground. Then you have hard maxing, which is where they do filler, Botox. Yeah, me too. That was something else. We'll maybe talk about that later. But yeah, hard maxing is like surgery, like the bone smashing stuff that doesn't work. That's a joke. Starve maxing isn't really that. When people say starve maxing, Chico, they're not actually starving. They're just going on a really severe cut. It's not severe. They're just not eating as much as they used to. But a lot of it is in a joking pretense. So
yeah.
Yeah,
that's what I start getting it from the community, to be honest. A lot is a lot of the like the maxing, whatever maxing, it's like most of it's joking. For some reason I got attached to this, and a lot of like media start asking me questions like kind of like, oh, what do you think about that? And I'm like, I don't think about that because I don't know about it. Like, you're the first person telling me this. So that's why we're actually talking right here, right? We're trying to get to the bottom of this. So yeah, I mean, I guess soft maxing is pretty much like tips on how to look better, or how to improve yourself. For
naturally,
like yeah. So you see somebody faces and kind of be like, hey, like, you have what's the whole, like, what is a negative tilt? What is all actually? Can you name me and explain me all those terms? Because they always say like, oh, if Chico had this, he would be, oh, or if that person had that.
Ignore all those. You're perfect the way you are. Essentially,
thank you.
No, man, that's the truth of it. You can't really change these sort of things, right? Negative tilt. There's a lot of people out there that are just like really good looking, people that look up to them and they're idolized, and they have a negative tilt. Like, this is like essentially, you know how they say coping. Okay, so negative tilt, when you're talking about the eyes, when it's like when the inner section of where the eye starts is at the bottom, then the upper section is all the way at the top. That's a positive one. Once it's neutral, where it's like laid out very horizontally, that's neutral. That's positive. When it's like this, you're getting towards the negative side. But it's really angles, for the most part. So if you have your camera down here, there is no way your eyes are positive. They're always going to be negative, right?
Yeah.
If they're up here, you're more likely to have positive eyes.
Yeah. I mean, you know more than us that like angles and light change a lot of things.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, in your modeling career, I'm sure it's very important to have appropriate lighting and pictures taken in the right angles and all that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, sometimes I get like sometimes I go to a shoot and they're like they already set up the light and like there's some guys that are looking amazing in the light. I go out there and look like shit. And they're like, okay, we have to change the
It's
whole
just the
fucking
lighting.
light.
Yeah, it's based on you and your
So like
tone,
depending
and
on the person, even independent of the person, depends on the light, sometimes it
for
just don't
sure.
look good. Okay, let's go. Now we got into the Looksmaxxing like very deep already. But like I still wanna know more about you, like how like tell me a little bit about your background. You said that
You
you're
want to go
Muslim.
deep into the person, how I came to be, right? So
Yeah, I know you live in California, right? You live out in
I moved here.
California. Yeah,
So
so what's your story?
I lived 18 years in the Middle East. I
Okay.
speak Arabic, and I had to learn French because of the war in Syria. I was forced to leave the school that I was attending and learn
Yeah.
French from scratch. And then, so there was a lot of moving happening in my childhood.
Yeah.
And the Middle East, it's not stable. So Syria messed up. I went to Lebanon, and then Lebanon got messed up, and now I'm here. For educational purposes, I still go to school. Despite my following, it's all temporary. Like nothing lasts forever, and
Yeah.
I seek stability. I didn't have stability when I was younger, and that's what I fear. I want to be able to have financial stability. I take 100K a year over $1 million randomly within social media influencers make money in a short-term scale, and then suddenly they're in their 30s and 40s, they don't have a following anymore, and they're not making as much money as before.
Yeah.
So I don't want to
And they're
rely on that.
used to
But
with the money they were making, so now they're like running behind.
for sure. And what
Yeah.
motivated me to start posting on social media was I was being made fun for it. Like in high school, people were calling me cringe and just like clowning me for it. When I first started going to the gym, they hate to see it. They were making fun of me for it. When I finally got sized, they made jokes that I was on steroids when I wasn't even that big. But so I was picked on. And I had been in school fights and all this sort. But at the end of the day, I don't regret it. I'm not sad about it because it's made me the person that I am today, and I wouldn't be the character that I am if it weren't for these experiences. So my family's still back in the Middle East. I see them once a year, sometimes twice if I go on the winter break, and that's how it is.
So you live alone? You live alone in California?
I'm all alone here. Yeah,
Okay. So you don't have any family over there or anything like that.
I have my sister and my brother. They're in LA, and I visit them
Okay.
on the weekends. But I'm entirely alone. Other than that, it's not too
So
often.
now you're in college. How old are you now? Sorry. Dusty.
Recently 22. I go to college, university, and I finish at the end of this year. Majoring in business management, and then afterwards I'm gonna go to law school, hopefully.
Okay. Nice. That's a good plan.
Yeah,
Seeking
hopefully.
stability. That's great.
Yeah,
I mean, meanwhile,
it's
you're
important.
the guy that controls the mogging community or whatever community is
I
out
wouldn't
there.
say that, but I think it's I have a bit of imposter syndrome, if that makes sense. I don't. Do you ever experience that imposter syndrome? Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah, I know. I heard that.
I don't feel. It feels weird. Like I'll be outside of the house, and people will come up to me and they'll be like, "Wow, like you inspired me to go to the gym and all this stuff, especially in my gym." And I'm like, "Wow, like I would have never thought. Like if you told 18-year-old me that I was gonna be where I am today, you'd be like, "What the hell? Get out of here!" Like I have these two different. I just feel disconnected, you know. So when I when I think about me being like the biggest, I mean, apart from you being the biggest face of Looksmaxing, I'm like, wow, like I kind of like tone it down in my head.
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
well, I guess, but I mean that's a good thing, right? Like, you like even if sometimes I
it
feel like that way again, the imposter syndrome.
it makes you want to do
Uh,
more, right? It's how you improve yourself, how you continuously improve yourself.
yeah, yeah. It's more because on my case, it's just that was always my job. Like I never that, and there was never social media involved, and then it just became, and just social media just like kind of like what came out of nowhere. But even before social media, for some reason, uh, I had like this like thing that it would attract people.
Wattpad.
So I not no, it wasn't before Wattpad actually. Like when I start modeling out of nowhere, like I get like a bunch of little fans outside of the show, and no other model would have that. So I would be like, "What? Why you guys are doing this?" Like that was
So
the big imposter syndrome because I was 17 years old coming out of a show. There was no social media yet. There was only Facebook, and
so
maybe
why do you
like
think they were doing that? That's my question.
I don't know.
Is it Like, what put you apart from other people? Was it your name?
I don't know. It can't. It was just that quick. I couldn't really
Chico,
understand.
when I was watched your podcast with Sean O'Brien, and you guys were like, "Oh, like looks are like this and that," and I understand not mogging other people. Don't compare yourself to other people. Always compare yourself to the previous version. But when it comes to looks, wouldn't you say that your looks played a role in your modeling career so much so that you had like this group of girls that were on you that no one else had?
That was fucking David Gandy right next to me. There was like a row of murders of handsome guys, like literally one next to the other, and they were just wanted to go see me. I don't know what he was. That's the thing. If you're talking about,
was there Wattpad at the time or no?
No, at the time there was no Wattpad. If you're talking about beauty himself, like that was a list of names. Guys, they're like established guys. I was just starting my career. There were guys like very established models coming out of the same door as me, but like nobody were there for them. They were there for me, and I just couldn't understand
It
why.
shocked you,
Why me?
Well, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why, Chico. There's a reason why you're like the kind of like everyone looks at you, especially like when you in your younger days, like they're like, this is the best looking guy and all this stuff. And the thing is, the girls would agree too. It's not like male gaze; it's female and male gaze. And that's why people are always comparing you to Jordan and all this sort. But I think you truly, out of all the models, because models have to have grotesque features and things that are outstanding, you had a face, and you still do, that doesn't really come off in any way. No one can really look at you and say, oh, this is the feature that stands out. No, it's like it all goes, it's harmony. That's what they call it, facial harmony.
Okay.
And you're going to see that a lot in how people defend you and your nature. So I would I really think that your looks played a huge role in why you had those girls there.
Yeah,
it has to be. Or maybe it was because you're a new face on the scene, right?
Yeah. But it's weird because that start happening when I start modeling. That's when it started happening. But that never happened with me ever before that. Like I wasn't going to school and I wasn't going to school and people are like, "Oh my god, this kid's so beautiful." Like girls were not like trying like knocking off their teeth to try to date me or anything like that. It was like actually hard for me to date people. It's like I guess like when I start modeling is just because I had the title as a model next to me. People look at my face and found it interesting because I did look different than the classical model. You know, the model that you see it that's like very masculine face, very masculine features, you know, like very
100%. That's male gaze. That's all about like appealing to men, really.
I never had this. Like, maybe if I let my beard grow and I try to look more like masculine, maybe. But my face always kind of being like different, you know, in some ways. It was different. Maybe that's what attracted.
I can relate to that. I didn't have a crowd of girls or anything like that, especially at school. So like we can both relate that in high school. It's because you're growing up with these people and they've seen you grow and they don't realize the change. They don't. It kind of like in high school, if you look a certain way and then you certainly improve, they kind of remember you for the past that you had. They don't. They don't see you for who you are. They remember all the embarrassing moments that you've had. They remember growing up with you, so they don't see you as like a. You know, and then of course when you start modeling, you start getting status, right? Because you're like suddenly a model now. You're the shit. So it's different than a high school setting, and also it could be a coincidence that at that certain time when you started looking really, really good, you know, they put you in a suit and all the sort, and then it kind of clicked in your head.
But even my friends from childhood, like when I started modeling, like I was coming back to my city, they were still not understanding. Like it was like, really, like why you,
dude? They're just toning me down.
No, but I was looking at them. I'd be like, right? Like I have the same fucking questions. Like it's like I'm just normal Chico, like here chilling. It's like what the fuck is happening? This shit. Like it happened, right? It happened.
And even now, aren't you like kind of surprised what's happening with like the looksmaxing niche?
I am. I mean, that's the thing. I always had a crazy following, right? But like that crazy following kind of died down because I grew up. I had my life.
You had a
right?
family,
I have my family, kids. I move around. I got away to fashion modeling. I started doing a lot more commercials, so that's a lot less spotlight on it. So like my following was like going down until the Gen Z found me, and they start finding all these old videos of me at 17, 18, 19, 20, like doing the beginning of my career, where I did all those fashion shows and all those fashion weeks, and like they just like went to town, and it's like, who is this kid, who is this kid, who is this kid, and then like my following start going back up like crazy.
It started on the forums. That's how it is. They were
Yeah.
skimming. Someone was skimming the models. They found your face. People started agreeing, and then it just started growing in numbers. And your face was all over the forums before you even were on TikTok. And I remember seeing it back when I first was seeing people posting about me. I remember seeing your face every now and then.
Wait, what forum?
I don't think we should say, because it's best for people not to go on there, just because there is valuable information on there. Don't get me wrong, but it's just not good for Chico's viewers, especially. So,
I mean, I don't care. I don't go on those forums anyways, and like I usually post and goes. I don't look at comments. Like I'm terrible at that. Actually, I don't want to say that, but Mitchell do all the questions and things. Usually, like when I post, like I say, Mitchell, go on my TikTok and answer people. No, most of the time it's me. Sorry, guys. I promise, most of the time it's me.
It's okay. You can clip this out. I
don't care. Really don't.
Yeah, no, I'm just playing. But what are your thoughts on the edits? Like when you're scrolling on your phone, do you ever see those edits when you're like scrolling on your phone?
I see. I think they're cool though. I really like it. I have a blast watching the edits. A lot of people ask me like, "Oh, what do you think about edits?" It's like, it's cool. Keep doing it.
Yeah,
it's great. I mean, like now, what's the weird that happened? Like the demographic, like with the whole Looksmaxxing community.
It was women with and then now it's men.
Yeah, it was like heavily women, heavily, and now it's heavily, and now it's split, and it's like now men's are more like overwhelmingly, and for some reason on my Instagram, India took over.
And there's a whole like, I think the majority of Looksmaxers on the internet are from India.
Oh yeah.
And I think it's because there's a huge standard in India on appearance for some reason. I'm not too sure if I'm complete on this, but like, yeah, there's just this. I don't know what it is, man.
Yeah, and on TikTok, actually, it's there's not much of India. It's a lot of US. It's like kind of mixed
because
up.
your feed is going to the US. I think. I don't know if you have a SIM card that's in the US card.
I have Brazilian and American SIM card.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not too sure. Maybe it's because TikTok is banned in India. Pretty sure.
Oh, it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's why.
But they'll use a VPN, I'm pretty sure. But
yeah. But Instagram is crazy. And then every time I go, like today I was over here in a small like market, and I got two like young boys, like probably under like 18s, like 16, 17, like coming to asking pictures. Like, that never happened in Florida. Also, every time I would go to, like,
you got a lot of people coming up to you now, right?
Yeah, a lot of young guys, usually, not girls. I got one girl,
pretty,
but
I think the girls are also a bit more shy to confront you. Like you're like the 6'3" guy who's like the big shit. They're not gonna come to you and be like, "Oh, let's take a picture."
But it's funny. I mean, like I'm used to it because that happened with me since the beginning of my career. For like I said, I don't really know why. Now I know because like now I know the origin of those young people coming like to say hi to me. I know where they're coming from, but in the beginning that I couldn't even.
You're like, what's going on?
Until I found out that a lot of people, they're heavy on what was the name? Tumblr. Yeah. Tumblr is a old. It was not a social media. It was just a web page that you could create it, and you would share pictures. I mean, I guess it's social media, but you would it's kind of like a Pinterest.
It's like a blog.
It was like a blog, yeah. It was like a blog thing, and then people would just like post my pictures everywhere. Everything that I would do, all my shoots, like that I would just do, that would just like post it, and people would repost, and a lot of people would stop me in the street and be like, "Hey, I know you from somewhere." I was like, "From where?" I was like, "I don't know, but I seen your face. Can I take a picture of you?" I was like, "No, you don't even know me." It's like, "What are you talking about?
Oh,
You don't
damn.
know
Yeah, at
my
the time,
name."
you were kind of like appalled. You're like, what the hell?
It's like, you don't know
Yeah.
my name. You don't know where you saw me. You just want a picture because you seen me somewhere that you didn't even know. It's like, stop it. They probably saw me on Tumblr. So yeah. Let's go back to so you said you're like you're out in California by yourself. Your family's in Middle East. And then you actually started getting a lot of traction online because you started posting your um like your how you used to look, and then how you look now, and that's how everything started, right? Like like give me a timeline of like how that happened. Like
So,
you're already in America alone by that time. Like how old were
so
you?
I started posting when I had visited my family. My brother was like, "Yeah, well, you should definitely post those videos, those pictures and stuff." And people were asking me about it, so I started doing that. And this was way back when there was like the Sigma trend, so I was playing into it as well. Syrian Psycho, I've had that username since day one, and had that profile picture of Patrick Bateman. Not because I'm like gonna be psychopathic or whatever. It's because I was looking up to his good features, kind of like Z's that I mentioned earlier.
Okay.
And um, I started posting and using that trend to push out that content of self improvement, which is kind of like a bridge. And I started having people I was trying to get people to value appearance more and presentation. And then they gave into it, and I gained about like 300, 400,000 followers. And then looksmaxing, I had already known about it and some of the terms, but it started getting more traction on TikTok. And I didn't want to say the word looksmax. I'd never say the word looksmax or even use the hashtag or anything like that. It was only just self improvement. Once it got traction and people started getting desensitized, I was like, okay, now I'll start posting about it. Because at the time, if you had posted about it, people would have been like, what? They would have went down the rabbit hole. It would have been severe. But now people know that there's a joking side of it, and a side that you shouldn't be taking serious, which is the stereotypical, the extreme stuff. Every community has an extreme side, but with looksmaxing, it was something that was viral worthy, like to talk about bone smashing or your canthal tilt and things like that. You're like, what? Like mouth breathing. Um, so yeah, there is a side to looksmaxing that's right, and that's kind of like what I try to promote. I'm trying to rewrite the stuff that's been coming out lately, but at the
So
same time, I
so
am optimistic. So
so you
yeah.
say that like not so long ago, Looksmaxxing was a very dark community in some ways.
I would say it's exactly the same way it is now. It's just
Yeah,
taking those forum posts where there were the positives and then the negatives, and correlating, like taking that and just slapping it on TikTok with video formats.
it's
That's
like
what happened.
4chan that kind of thing.
And
It's
now
like,
it's Gen Z taking it, so they're putting the skibbity toilet twist on it. Does that make
yeah,
sense? So they're kind of
no.
messing it up, and they're playing around with it, and yeah, I think it's bad that there's that side coming out, but it's bound to happen with every sort of community, and I saw it coming. And there's only so much that we can do, right? These podcasts are great for letting people know about these things, and teaching people these terms and what to take seriously and what not to. So that's good on you. Um, I
Yeah,
wish I could
because
post more about this. Yeah.
it's uh it's complicated, right? Because I guess me and Mitchell, we come from a time where we didn't grow up with social media. We didn't grow up with for like chats, or like all those like interaction between like kids that are just like on their rooms, and like they're in those like, you know, ch- they're just like talking a lot about many different things, and they're just freely talking, and it can be very harmful for other people that are in there. um it's just like, it's just too new that this is even like, for me it's not new at all, right? But it's just weird that people actually do that, that they actually go on those like chats, and they like get engaged into conversations, and they get into rabbit holes, and they just like, it's just weird. So that's why I'm trying to get perspective from you, that you actually do that because you grew up on it. like that's kind of your norm. And I don't see myself going to chats and like on websites and things like this. I think one time somebody told me like, oh, you have to have the, what's the name of this little chat app? It's like look like a robot thing that people in gaming community or
Reddit.
Reddit. Yeah, I guess like somebody made me do a Reddit account and like go read chats and things and like and I was like,
Yeah, there's a lot of
I'm not.
discussion that happens online. Just like any community, like I said, there's gonna be this extreme side,
Yeah,
whether it be vegans or whatever. There's always gonna be like this side that's just not representing the whole community for what it is. If you don't know, looksmaxing isn't doing these severe things. It's improving the way you look in any way. And I'm not just talking about the way you look, but it could be your scent, your presentation, the way you dress, things like this. So
yeah,
also there's a side to it like status, like money, all these sort of things that are important. But looksmaxing, the appeal to it is like, man, we like to simplify things, we like to quantify things. So we say looks max, status max, gym max, things like this because it makes it so much easier. And we like to quantify things because it's just a lot easier in our heads, like being 6 foot and being this big and having like this angle. But of course, it's more than that. It's about the overall picture and the package that you are. You shouldn't just rely on your looks solely. You should have other things to compensate. And I think realizing that looks play a role in this day and age is healthy. And I say this because let's say you don't have looks, you will realize that people will treat you worse for the way you look, and you'll compensate it by other things. And if you don't realize that presentation is important, then you're gonna go around smelling like shit, looking like shit, and expecting people to treat you accordingly. Like, so I
Do
think
you
it's all about
think?
fostering
Yeah.
self-care.
Do you think like guys that they're like better looking than other guys and they're a little meaner, like they're just
No, I
mean,
think that's
right?
stupid. You should
You
never.
think
You
they
should
you,
never.
you think they're hijacking the looks maxing community just
Yeah,
to, like they kind of like, yeah, you see me, that's how you should look like, you loser
people
type of
are
thing.
attracted to characters, and I do this myself even on my social media. But they're attracted
Yeah,
to people that are confident, people that have their stuff, and people that are arrogant. They like it's entertaining for them. It starts drama, stuff like this. But I think there's a lot of creators out there that compare themselves to other people, and they mog other people unless they're doing it in a joking way, and it's obviously joking. Like you did today, you posted like this video of me and you. It was a joke.
yeah,
But other people, they'll do it in a serious way, and this is where it becomes wrong because you're not supposed to improve yourself to like smear other people's faces. Just lift yourself up, and everyone stays at the same level, and they'll be looking up to you. Don't put other people down. So that's kind of like what I try to preach, but it's hard on TikTok when you're doing short form content and you're
yeah,
trying not to deviate from your niche. And so
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. That's the thing, right? I guess if you're doing something that's working, like like it's hard for you to like just change the recipe for something else
yeah,
that maybe could be like, that's the thing, it's weird, it's weird to say that because you should always try to strive, right? You should always try to like be better, like you have a
you
content,
have
you
to.
have a community, you're doing like videos that are engaging, but then you can always throw a little like ball out there, little video out there that's like about like being better or like
Yeah,
things like
I
that.
do videos with my charity, which a lot of people have been supporting that for. So a lot of the stuff that I sell, there's a portion of I forgot the word. Sorry, mixing up my. I know the word in Arabic. Anyways, there's parts of the revenue that I get that goes to my
Yeah,
charity, and I get to write this off, but it's still money. And at the end of the day, if it wasn't for my socials, I wouldn't be able to back it. We've done all
yeah,
sorts of things in Palestine, especially 11 different nations, and I post this to just kind of remind people that there's more to looks. You have to also be faithful as well. So I've shared a bit
yeah,
about my religion, which sometimes I regret because there's also an extreme side. Like I said, looksmaxing is an extreme side. There's an extreme side to Islam, and it's
yeah.
just how it
there's
is.
there's stream side through every religion, so like you shouldn't be worried about that. Christians,
Yeah,
there's stream side also, just like
exactly. Yeah. I am
Muslims
a
or
proud
like
Muslim and everything. Yeah, it's just
Jewish,
um,
there's a stream side to Judaism too. So like
yeah,
religions or anything else involved in religion, there's always gonna have an extreme. Oh yeah, you mentioned your, actually I when I put your name, when I was trying to find out, okay, who is this guy, like a long time ago, and I found your website where it shows like, I guess it shows like Mogwarts, where you can subscribe to Mogwarts, and
Yeah.
it shows your charity. So like, what do you do in charity? You say you help, like you're helping like many different causes. Like what's the main
So
thing?
it's all humanitarian purposes. So it comes down to supplying food, shelter. If it's cold in that region, we provide winter wear like hand-me-downs and whatnot. We also provide relief when there's like natural disasters. When the stuff happened during Turkey, we were there for that. All sorts of things. Right now, we're focusing a bit on Palestine.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So
I
you're
mean,
like, you have like boots on the ground. Like, how does it work?
yeah. I have representatives laid out in every single country. We have a whole group chat, and anyone who's watching this podcast, or even people that are on my account, I've said this and I'll say it again. You can feel free to join if you want to make change. Like it doesn't, even if you don't want to put any money in. Like obviously $1 a month will help, but if they join, they can do a lot more for us. Just being active and helping with the missions and setting things up. But yeah, we have many representatives around the world, like Indonesia, Iraq, like everywhere. And
It's part of, it's like the charity is part of like a big group. Then it's like a group.
no. I run this charity. I'm like this. I practically am like the owner, and I have a partner with me. That's how it is.
Okay.
And we have about 80 people in it that are representatives. So they're always doing things. It's very hard for me to manage, so my partner does help, but I'm essentially bootstrapping this thing and trying to get this to work. We don't do crazy big missions, but help is help. And
Yeah.
Mogwarts, the jewelry brand that I have, there's parts of that, like that revenue that goes into the charity. So
Okay.
I'm grateful
So
for being able to.
okay. And then Mogwarts, how does it, like, okay, so let's say we have somebody here, like we're doing this podcast, people here like, okay, this sounds like a cool kid, right? Like it sounds like he can give me some like advices on like how can I look better and things like that. Like, how do I subscribe to your school?
Okay.
Like how does that work?
So I want to talk about Mogwarts. So Mogwarts, there was something before Mogwarts. I was selling a book that I had written, completely licensed and everything. I discarded it because I thought I could do way better. It was about 130 pages on just things that you could improve: your face, your hair, everything. And I sat down for months, about maybe like 2 months, just writing. I wrote about 800 pages, 900 pages, all original diagrams, everything. I used a bit of AI to help me with like the diagrams, but a lot of it works. And I put it together, and it's on Mogwarts. Like when you subscribe, you get access to all these books. Now, not only do you get these books, but you get a positive community, essentially that's completely moderated, and you get to speak with me. So I value my time, you value your time, Mitchell values his time. When you're running subscriptions, it's to basically cast aside the people, so you could work more on one-on-one, but at the same time I want to make it affordable. So currently it's like $40, which is absurd if you think about it, but I put so much time into this, and I had other people that were on board the project, but they like quit last second. So I'm reducing the price, I'm bringing it down, but yeah, I also have a free section on Mogwarts. But yeah, you go on there, you get advice from other people. We had people literally meet each other that are in Mogwarts in real life. Pull up a picture later, but I'll show you. It's very cool, honestly, to see. So yeah, think of looksmaxing. Instead of spending $300, $400 going to a dermatologist for him to tell you to go take Accutane, you join Mogwarts and you get advice from people that have gone through experiences that you have, people that have solved their things, and from me. And we have other people that are on there like Gino, Aaron, Lance Baker, people that have kind of like an expertise in that certain area. Of course, none of us are doctors or anything, but yeah.
So okay, so it's kind of like a community. So you subscribe to a community where like everybody has the same goal.
Yeah. I
so
mean,
it's like it's like Looksmaxing but private.
It's not just looksmaxing. Mogwarts doesn't talk just about looks. I have books on businesses, like how to start your own business, like different business models.
Yeah.
I also have books on social status. And I'm putting out more works every single month. It's not just like, okay, you subscribe and that's it. No, you're getting things every month. And right now we're on Discord, but we've been shifting different platforms to see what works best. But yeah, I only started. It's only been 2 months old, and unlike other influencers who like create something and then outsource everything else, and they're like getting like 20%, 10% of the work that they deserve, what they deserve. I actually do the majority of things. Like the site, and my jewelry site, all these things, I make them myself. So they take a lot of time. And especially the books and just chatting one-on-one with people. People kept asking me to make something like this, and I brought it to life. And I got some lashback from people because they're like, what the heck, why does it cost and all this? So I am providing a free section, but you know, in this world you pay for the work that you've done. And there's no service that's going to be entirely free, and especially when I'm trying to make it something that's, of quality.
I mean, look, I guess I'm not gonna be the one criticizing what you're doing, because if you put it in the work and if you're making it like, because the only thing that bothers me sometimes when people start charging for like educational reasons, it could
You can find they'll say you can find the information online. That's what they say.
Yeah. It could sound a little bit like a scam, like 100%. A lot of the times, but like I mean, we're talking right now, right? So like,
I haven't made videos explaining what Mogwarts is, so I don't blame you for even think like.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you go on the website, you kind of like you don't have a lot of information. You have some information, but how do I'm gonna like pay to get in there and make sure that, because right now you're explaining it's a community, right? So like,
it sounds because you're hearing what it's about, but when you're looking at the website, it's very dulled down. And like I said, because I made it myself, it's not up to par, but I am fixing it, and I am making it more clear as to what Mogwarts is. The reason why I haven't made a video saying, okay, this is what Mogwarts is and all that, is because it's ever changing. But very soon I'm going to have a model that's a lot more well put together as to what's happening, because we changed from different platforms. We were once at school, now we're on Discord. Still figuring out how to make this the best community for self-improvement, and making a video on it, for me to make another one re-explaining things, is kind of tedious. I am a student, full-time student, so it's kind of hard for me to do all of that altogether. Of course, ideally I'd outsource it, but
and you try and chase something even like harder, right? Like in your student life. So like, you're trying to go for like I guess a master degree in like.
I'm trying to be a lawyer, so yeah.
So it's gonna consume a lot of your time.
It's gonna kill me. I mean, law school. I can't be doing social media with law school.
Yeah,
that's like Mitchell's laughing because he knows it takes a lot out of someone. So
no,
I'd
but I mean, like, what I guess what you can do, like to promote more, because it sounds like you put a lot of hard work and like sweat into Mogwarts. So I guess you could actually use your platform to promote it like more, and like actually give more pieces of
explain what it is 100%.
Yeah.
I have to do that. This is something that I like in.
Because if it's something that, for example, like what's the problem with the Looksmaxing community right now is that there's a lot of toxicity.
We've been talking.
It's toxic, right? Like you can't really filter what's happening there. So like, if you're a kid that you're going to Looksmaxing community and you're trying to find things to look like, to feel better, and then you end up just getting bullied out of it, like, you're not gonna come out of like feeling better. You're gonna come out of like very depressed.
For sure. This is why we're doing this. Yeah, this is why
I guess Mogwarts, it's a way to have a Looksmaxing community, but that's like positive. Better, and at the same time you filter it, so you can actually make sure people are not fucking with each other.
We don't even have like, I have moderators and they do nothing. Like, they sit down, and because everyone's just they're paying to be in there, and they don't want to lose their money's worth. So everyone's just following the rules, and everyone's just so nice and helpful towards each other when there's no reason for them to be. Like, we do have a leaderboard and we do give rewards for people that are active, but they don't have to be helpful to one another, and they don't really have to be positive. It's just amazing, honestly. And I wish it was something that I had when I was younger, like people or someone to tell me to do such a thing. Because when you're scrolling on social media, Chico, you're gonna have these insecurities come up, like with or without the Looksmaxing trend. You're gonna make the connection in your head. Why am I being treated this way? Oh, maybe it's because I stink. Like, these connections are made on your own subconsciously. What Looksmaxing does is it cuts through the bullshit. It's based. It's like giving you the truth, hard and cold, and it's up to you as to what you want to do with that truth, right? Do you want to keep believing the lie that looks don't matter, or you're going to do something with it? Now, I don't think that looks are the only important thing. I just think that it's important for one to realize that it does play a role, and it'll help them maneuver around it, avoid the right people, make the right connections, and behave a certain way. And yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, like, you can't be mad about that, right? Like, if you're trying to like shed the light and tell people out there that you can find a better version of yourself, and I can show you that. That's helpful. That's very helpful. That's
I've been
actually
doing it for free for a long time, man. So
because you yeah, you
I'm
could
still gonna do it though, like forever. Like I'm gonna keep posting
yeah
these videos that are helpful, but people keep messaging me for help one on one, and I can't provide that. And
yeah
this is what Mogwarts is about. The same way, like you're trying to respond to your comments on your live, man. There's too many, so you make a subscription only, right? You have to get these people to throw in a nickel or two,
yeah.
right?
The people that actually like are not they're there just fuck around. You shut them
Exactly.
out very quickly.
Exactly, and that's what I'm trying. But I am gonna be making a free section for Mogwarts where they can still make this a community and thrive and everything. But it's
Yeah
gonna be harder to moderate, right?
yeah.
Um, that's what it is.
No,
I
but
think with this system is like every like I agree with what you say when it comes to like self-improvement and being the best version of yourself, and you're supposed to compare yourself to your older version of yourself. But I feel like people are in this community just giving not free advice. They just feel like they have the right to tell each other what each other needs to do. And I feel like it should be like you're focusing on yourself rather than comparing, because I feel like there's a lot of comparison here. Like people are like, oh, I mog you, or you need to work on this, but it's not for them to tell you what you should be working on. I think we need to make it more of like a positive, like you're looking internally and you're looking at bettering yourself, at being the best version of yourself, rather than being like, oh, you have this and I don't have this, or you should do this, but like, who are you to tell me what to do or to tell each other what to do? I think the community is getting a bit toxic in that way.
Yeah, it's kind of like girls calling each other fat, and you know what I mean.
Yeah, but like a male perspective.
100%. You raise a really good point, and I think that I even fall guilty of doing that in some of my videos, where I'm like showing these streamers or these famous people and changing their faces and stuff. But I do it in a very relaxed manner, natural way, and I never call them ugly or anything like this. Maybe the application gives them like a bad rating, but yeah, this is a negative side of the community. Of course, the really bad stuff would have to be like the bone smashing and the, you know, all the
What is
the
bone
rope
smashing?
maxing. So bone smashing, here's what I'll tell you. I made a first video about this before Looksmaxxing was trending, and when it first came out, that's what bone smashing was trending before Looksmaxxing. And that's how
Okay.
it kind of came out. Basically, bone smashing is hitting yourself with a hard object, and they usually show a hammer because that's like a hard object. And it's supposed to fall in line with a theory that a scientist brought up, which is where when you break your bone or you hit something, you start growing like callus or like bone in that area.
Yeah.
And so they had this. They wanted to kind of like, I guess, prove this theory by hitting their faces here and seeing if their cheeks would grow. And some people say it works, some people say it wouldn't. But don't. If anyone's watching this, don't ever try, because it doesn't even work. And what it does is it causes inflammation here because you're hitting your face, right? And it makes it red, so it makes it look like it's bigger, but in reality it does nothing. But bone smashing is considered a joke by 99% of the people that post about it or say anything about it, right?
Okay.
I hope so.
And people say
I mean, you're not
yeah,
breaking
man, there's always going to be that 1% that actually tries, man. I've seen it and I've yelled at them for it. This was way back then, like when I had like 600, 500K.
Don't hit,
like,
don't hit yourself with a hammer, please.
Dude, it's crazy. Yeah. Rope maxing is also like a joke spin-off of, unaliving yourself, which is, it's sad, but people like dark humor, and I never mention that word or post about it, and Chico, only does to speak about how messed up it is, how fucked up it is. But yeah, that's a negative side of the community as well.
Yeah, I mean, you can only answer for yourself, right? Like, you can't really like answer for other people's feeling. It's and that's when you start talking about like betting yourself, and like you get a lot of players out there in the in the internet, and just like have free will of saying whatever they want. Sometimes they just don't mean what they're saying, they're just joking. But a lot of the times people that hear it, they just take it seriously,
It's to get attention, man. That's what it is.
yeah, and yeah, I know, man. Kids are mean, you know. Like even school, like it doesn't even have to be in social media, you know. Like I get like even with like my kids, sometimes they come back home and they're like a little sad. It's like, what happened? It's like, oh yeah, this kid was like telling me this, this, this. It's like it sounds stupid, right?
It's messed
What they're
up. Was it
saying.
about? Was it your kids recently?
Yeah, but it's always happens, right? Because like kids are mean. But they just go on and like say like stupid thing like, oh, your shoes is fake. But like
There's haters
still,
everywhere. People like putting each other down. It was happening when I was younger, before even looksmaxing. But with looksmaxing,
yeah.
it makes it easier. It justifies the things that you have to say about people. If you had a negative cancel tilt, they wouldn't say that to you. They just tell you your face is fucked up. They'd say, "Oh, your eyes are fucked up," you know. But now it's like they're able to pick at it, and yeah, I mean, it is messed up. Yeah, but
There's
the
there's labels now, right? There's labels for everything now, and like we were saying, when Chico and I were in school, we only knew the 5 people that we knew. Like we were around a friend group of 5 people, 10 people if you're popular. But now you're exposed to a huge network of people that you don't know at all, and they have so much to say about you. So it's like, and they're all hiding behind their screens. So it's like you feel like you have the power to say what you want to people and have no consequences for it, because it's like they don't even know me. They know where I live. But if Chico's friend was like coming for him, or if my friend was coming for me, I know where you live. You know, like I know
Yeah,
your
it makes
mom.
sense. Like, yeah, like no one's gonna be upfront with you. On social media, it gives them that confidence. Like I've had people make fun of me, and then when I've met them, like somehow they've come across them, and I remember them like, wow, you used to be like a hater, and they kind of like take it back. And I don't know if they still believe that, they still hate me or whatever, but a lot of it comes from envy. Like they hate, like for instance, people might be making fun of you because they're kind of envious of the fact that you're friends with Chico, for instance, or they're making fun of
Oh yeah, I
Chico
get that
because of
all
how
all the
successful.
time.
How do you guys feel? Like, do you guys, what's the word? Do you ever look at comments and feel bad? Because as humans, you kind of bring out the negative side of things. You never look, you only, what's the word? You get a lot of positive comments, right? But we like to look at the negative ones because we're very critical of ourselves. How is it with you, like Chico? You're like the self-proclaimed, like you're like the proclaimed, the man everyone should strive to look like. How is it for
I'm
you when
fine.
you read these comments,
Like
man?
what when I get like bad comments, like mean
Yeah, I
comments.
don't know if you see any mad comments, but if you see bad comments, how
I
is your
like them
reaction?
though. I mean I like them, but like it's
You
I
like it?
sometimes like I never read it, but like sometimes like Mitchell or Jazz they come and say, oh, somebody said that. I'm just laughing. I was like, fuck. Like people are stupid.
Yeah. I mean,
But like I
you've
really
had many people on you.
to me, to be honest, because I know people are out there to be mean, right? Like that's my conception is that like most of people they're nice. They want to like say, hey, good job, amazing. But like the ones they're out there to pick on it, or like even if it's not related to me or anything else, I'm just like, okay, the person's just like
Yeah.
out there to get attention, and it's like sometimes I think it's funny because they sound so stupid that I'm just laughing at it. But like it's like cool, like you will never see me like mad on my screen and just like, oh my god, this person told me that, I gotta answer. It's like, no, like if it really bothers me, to be honest, I would like go block and delete. That's what I do. That's
Gotcha. Were you like
every
from the
if it
start?
really really bothers me, that's exactly what I do. But like most of the time it doesn't bother.
Were you like this from the start? Like, were you always able to deal with the hate, or did it take time for you to kind of develop
I
that?
guess when you start reading like bad comments, you feel a little some type of way, right? Like you'll never feel. But like when I start understanding that people are just gonna be like this, I guess I just change my reaction to it. But like I think the main time that I change my reaction to is when I start dating Jazz, and we're getting a lot of hate messages. Jazz was
Oh
getting a lot of
wow.
hate messages because we're dating, And then I was like just
They
trying,
didn't want
just
you
like, oh my
together.
god,
They wanted you for them.
people are so mean, and I was just trying to like you
Yeah.
know, close Jess ears, kind of like just avoid it,
Ignore them.
stop
Yeah.
it. Like people are, and then that was the main the time where I kind of like switched this. I just switched. I just wasn't caring anymore. I was like,
You
whatever
switched it
people are
off.
gonna
Yeah.
say, people are saying that because they want to be mean. They want you to look at it. They want you to read it, and they want you to take your attention, and that's why they're doing. So
Yeah.
if you're actually reading it and answering, that's they won already. So just you either completely ignore it, or if you really want like to be gone and out of it, you just delete
Just
it,
block.
block it, and bye. If that person comes back as a spam or whatever, you're just not gonna realize it again because you're just not gonna read it. Or if you do,
For
you
sure.
block it again and bye. You just
Yeah.
buy
What about
it.
you,
That's
Mitchell?
it.
Do you agree, Mitchell?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's kind of, well, I'm very new to this because it's like I was just living my life, you know, doing my thing, and then now I'm getting a taste, a small taste of what Jess was dealing with. I mean, she was dealing with a lot. You know, she was dealing with
We're
a lot,
making fun
and
of it.
but now it's like it's just funny to me. It's like it's people, like exactly what you said. It's a reaction. They want a reaction from you, right?
Yeah.
But the thing that bothers me the most, is when they pull the race card out. They pull the race card out and they're like,
Yeah.
what? Like there's words to like the rice eater, and like they like
Oh.
they come for your your race, and I'm like, what did I do to hurt you? What did I do so much that bothers you so much? But
Well, but the
for
thing
me,
is, like for me, I guess for me and Mitchell, when they say stuff like this, we actually joke internally between each other about those jokes because we find it funny. We have a little
Yeah.
dark
Yeah.
humor between us.
yeah,
Like,
we
don't
just
wanna-
we just find it so extreme that
yeah,
it's funny.
It's kind of like, but it's almost like, how dare you? Like that's reserved for us. You're not supposed to be talking like this, dude. It's like, no, you can't talk like this.
Only
So
I
it's
can
kinda
say
like-
that to you.
Yeah, it's only between us and shit. But anyways, it's funny.
What about
though.
you?
How-
Do you feel you
Yeah.
get comments like that too?
Dude, I get death threats on the daily, but it took me some time to get used to the hate. First year of being on social media, I got some hate. Second year, but when I first started, I thought I'd get like a lot more hate. So if anyone's watching and they're scared that if they start posting, they get like a lot of haters, it's not like that. I'm sure like with Chico and Mitchell, you're getting like 99.9% of positive comments because we look at the negative ones and they hit you harder. It's just how it is, right? So don't let that sway you from doing the things that you want to do, things that you're afraid of getting hate for, because it's not going to be like that. Trust me. When you are confident in what you're doing, people kind of like they won't care, and that's what happened with me the first year. And then the second year, I started getting a bit more hate. Third year, a lot more hate, and now like I'm towards the end of the third year, and it's just like ramping up because I'm pertaining to this niche of looksmaxing, and if that niche has hit someone the wrong way, that trend has done someone dirty in some way, they're kind of looking for someone to blame, and it's me. So that's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's complicated though. I guess like if when you're like when you focus a lot of your time into social media and you get a lot of hate from it, it's kind of complicated, right? Because it's kind of like, oh my god, I'm focusing all my time into this, and it's like it sounds like people are hating it, or maybe not, or maybe it's actually working because people it's the whole thing. Like it's like hate it or love it, just watch me, kind of type of thing. If I'm never into this. I don't like when people are very like up and personal hating on what I do because I mean to do good things always. And like if people are telling me they don't like it, it's kind of like, oh, that sucks. But like
Yeah, they're coming after who you are as a person.
Yeah. But at the same time, like I said, most of the time I don't want to look at it. I don't like to watch it. I don't, even if I read it.
You don't entertain it,
yeah. I don't entertain it.
Post and ghost.
I'll do my thing regardless, because that's who I am. That's how it goes. Yeah,
Okay, I have a question. This is a really good question, and we're kind of like
yeah.
changing the topic, but I have like a couple here actually. Um, did you have any inspiration, like a
On
person
what?
that you look up to? I don't know if you have
Um,
one right now or when you were younger.
Not really though, to be honest. I get questions like this, like very trivia questions, inspiration, what you like, like personal preference and things like that. I'm a very like blank page. I don't really have any. Yeah, I don't really have anybody that I look up to be honest. I kind of like create my own path, like, and things just showed up in my face, and I just go and do it. I guess I look up to people. I guess I look up to a wild range of people that are just like, you're doing good, doing good job, you're a good person, and you're a role model. Like,
So you take like certain aspects from multiple people, basically.
yeah, but I can't
Cool.
name them because I just don't have. The moment I see, I sometimes some people that I look for it, that I like, oh, I like this person, I follow this person, and I see they do something that is not really on my like taste, that I don't like it, and I lose a little respect and I stop following this person, and I just go to the next one. So it's kind of like, that's the way I do it. I kind of shape myself, being myself always, but then I take little things from other people depending on what situation I am in life.
Yeah.
Because there's sometimes that I feel more, sportive, so I'm gonna look for like motivation in people that are into sports, and like I'll call friends, I'll call people that are very into it. Sometimes I want to be more artistic, so I'll go towards that. So that's kind of like how I do it.
Cool. And what's your favorite fragrance? Sorry, I'm just going through the questions people were asking. Do you have a
I would
favorite
do it with
fragrance?
the questions. Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I have many like I never really used fragrance when I was younger, but then when I got into modeling, I started
Yeah.
getting a little interested about it, and then my first ever fragrance, I guess, was Acqua di Gio, that I bought it, but
Sounds
like
good.
it's never been my favorite. It's just because it was a thing to get. My first favorite was Izumiyaki. That was like, that's pretty famous actually. It's a good like lemony type of like smell. And then I went to my actually other favorite was Wood by Discord. That's actually became a very big favorite of mine. And then I went a little more darker, kind of like Yves Saint Laurent, and like
Are you looking more at like fragrances that are less popular or the ones that are mainstream, like the
more mainstream. I mean, I
more
guess I
mainstream?
don't know, to be honest. I don't know what's mainstream, what's not in fragrance.
What's popular, what's not? Okay.
Yeah, I guess
Cool.
they all
It just
there,
goes where
right?
his nose goes.
The latest one that I like it a lot, and there, it's not that popular, is the one from Costa Brazil. And Costa Brazil is
Gotcha.
not a brand that's a famous brand. They just kind of started. It's from Francisco Costa. He used
The
to be
startup,
the
yeah.
head designer of Calvin Klein, and he started his own cosmetic brand. And his cosmetic, it's very good. It's all natural. And then he created a fragrance that's like a sense from it's like, I think it's a root, or it's something to do with the tree in the Amazon. I forgot the name of it, but it's something that comes out of the tree, and then they make a sense of it, and it senses.
Wood?
It's very good.
Yeah.
It's yeah, that's my latest, the one that I like it a lot.
Cool. What about you, Mitchell? Do you have any favorite fragrances, man?
Lilabo.
Lilabo.
Lilabo Santal
Oh
33.
yeah, Le Labo is good.
Brooklyn.
Gotcha.
Brooklyn.
Yeah,
Yeah, Le
actually,
Labo,
a lot of these are unique. I've never heard of half of them that you guys are
Le
talking
Labo
about.
is good. Le Labo is good, but they're expensive.
Yeah, they're expensive, but I think for fragrance, the unique thing that I found that was cool about Lilabo is like they kind of like mix it in front of you in the store.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
but
Like it's like a
That's unique.
bunch.
Le Labo is
Yeah.
French. It's not
No,
from
but it's
Brooklyn.
from Brooklyn.
The one that you bought it.
No, but it's just Lilabo Brooklyn.
Ah, fuck.
Cool. I've never heard of that, so I need to maybe do like more
Pull
research
it
on
up. Which
fragrances.
one
Yeah.
you like? What's your favorite one?
Dude, I have so many. Let's go with Spice Bomb. Really good brand. I don't like the ones that smell lemony, or like too strong, but
Okay.
it doesn't last that long. I also like to apply it on clothing a little bit because it increases the duration. 1 million was really good, but it's pretty mainstream. Like everyone talks about that.
Yeah.
Your Homme Intense, but like the older ones, because the newer ones are a little bit different. They changed the substance. But I have one from like 2011 and I still use it. I have like 3. I got them in like France or something like that. Yeah. But what else? Dior Elixir is one that I want to get soon. I had like a small sample. If you guys aren't sure about what fragrances you want to get like the samples that you can get. That way you're not really wasting your money on something that you're not going to be using, right?
Yeah.
You don't want it just sitting in your bathroom. There's a whole lot more that I can tell you about, but yeah, we'll say that for another time. As for the questions, what's next? What are your thoughts on facial surgery? This one's like completely.
My thoughts?
Yes, on cosmetic surgery. Yeah.
It's like, I mean, if you haven't got punched in the face, or you got like a bulldozer in your face and you have to do something, or you got burned like crazy accidents that you deformed your face and you have to do it because you look like, somebody that you don't like it, and you want to look at, you want to have a normal face back, and then I'm okay. But if you're doing anything in your face for beauty related purpose, just like very like futile type of thing, I don't agree to it. I mean, but it
A
is what
lot
it
of
is.
what you're talking about, people like having deformities, some
Yeah.
of them do things for beauty. Like the reasoning is for beauty. They kind of like cover it with like, oh, it's because it's like impeding my breathing or something like that. But a lot of it is for them to feel better. And
Yeah, I
I
mean, like, let's say
feel,
nose jobs, right? Like, if you have a
yeah,
terrible nose, like you want to have a better nose, I guess it's fine. Or like lips, if you have tiny lips, very very tiny lips, and you want to like
lip filler.
get fuller lips, I guess it's fine. But in the
Yeah.
end of the day, if it looks weird, it's gonna look weird,
If it looks
right?
unnatural.
If it
Here's what I'll
looks
say.
unnatural.
I kind of agree with what you're saying, but I have this stance, and tell me if you agree. I don't ever talk about surgery on social media. It's especially since people think that I've done something. It's something that I don't want to mention. But on TikTok, especially, there's a lot of kids watching, and if you mention surgery and they have like a little insecure thing, like a little small bump, so people they're like, "Oh, look at my bump," but they don't have any bump. It's like literally straight. I hate those kind, but they see it because they're very critical of themselves. But they're gonna pursue surgery, especially if it's someone that has like a huge following saying, "Oh yeah, go do this." You're not getting that many views on this video compared to, of course, your TikToks. That's just crazy, a bigger amount. You have more mature audience on here. And I would say that a lot of people that are considering surgery, they need to go about it the right way. 99% of people aren't even sure of what it's going to look like. They haven't done their research properly. They have to go to multiple doctors. They have to see what's going on. And I'm talking about like things like that are more safe procedure, like the nose job. This is like something that's practiced everywhere. It's a lot more
Yeah.
safer than the other things like the jaw surgery. Like that's a bit extreme, but I think if someone does their research and they go about it diligently and they can afford it and they're a lot older and they understand that the risk of them coming afterwards is going to be always better than before. For instance, let's say you have a nose and you've done your perfect research, but your nose doesn't look that great, but it's also not that awful. And if you do the surgery, there's a chance that it can come out worse. You should never do it. I think that if you're certain that the outcome afterwards is always going to look better than before, even if it looks unnatural, I think it's safer.
Yeah.
Like it's a way, it's it can be excused, and I would never judge someone for doing surgery because at the end of the day they're just trying to be comfortable with themselves.
Yeah, like I said, like if it's your face, it's not my face.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
if you wanna go for it, you go for it. If you wanna hear my opinion on it, if you come to me before you do it, I'll give you my opinion on it. Like honestly,
Yeah. Exactly.
if I look
Yeah.
at your face and I'd be like you come to me and be like, oh, you think I should change that? And like for example, people people do like they get older, they start getting like the neck, and they want to like
And they want
do a
to.
lift here and there and there, like, and they come to me and it's like, oh, what do you think I should do? I was like,
When it's the small
I
stuff, man, they keep looking for more. Once they do the small stuff, they
yeah
will find something else to change. So
yeah
you got to keep it at a healthy level. I understand people
I'm
that
not gonna be I'm not gonna be your friend that's gonna agree to everything you want to do in your face, because
you're gonna be real with them. Yeah,
I'm gonna be real with it. And so like, yeah, I'm not against it. I'm okay with it, because people, like I said, people do with their face whatever they want to do, and people do with their money whatever they want to do. But if you want to hear my honest opinion before you do it, I'll give it to you, and I'm not gonna lie it. I'm not gonna be
for
one of
sure.
those friends or family members that like, you would look at your face, you look like Frankenstein, because after you did like 500 million surgeries in your face, and still look at you and be like, oh my god, you look beautiful. No, I'll be like, you look like
No,
shit.
yeah,
You should
you gotta keep
100%
it
stop
real.
doing
Yeah,
this. Look weird.
yeah.
I'm not. And Mitchell knows that. I'm gonna tell you that. I'm not gonna be
See,
like sugarcoating.
if you know Chico well, it's honesty hour every
He's
hour.
very direct,
And I'm
this
not.
is
And
because
I'm not bullying you. I'm just telling you like what it is. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Like, it is what it
you're
is,
gonna
bro.
tell it like it is, which is a personality trait that I like about you, because it's like there's no beating around the bush, there's no bullshit. It's just like, if you're being stupid, you're gonna tell somebody they're
Yeah.
being stupid, or yeah.
I mean that's how you have
I'm
to be.
gonna
You
try
gotta
to
stay
be
real.
nice about it, but like if being nice about it's not working, and then I'm probably gonna be straight.
Of course, man.
But then it is what it is.
You're
Okay,
direct. You're more
let's do
direct
like
than
this then.
others. 'Cause-
Now that we're doing questions,
Sure.
I'll let you go over
Oh
your
yeah, you guys
questions.
have questions. I forgot, man.
Yeah, we do. We have questions from the live.
Okay.
I let you go over your questions. I mean, we're already like an hour and 16 minutes. I guess
Yeah,
like
wow,
we already
time's
went
flying.
over Looksmaxxing, you know, your Mogwarts thing, this and that. I still want to kind of to know more about like your transformation.
Sure.
You know, like how did that happen? You know, how old were you until you started kind of like, oh my god, like I gotta do this, and then start recording it? Like, are you already like in the States alone, or are you still in the Middle East, or like? And then when did you start doing Hokutan? Because I guess you did all the procedures that you did, I guess, to be able to get like clear skin, you know, like all the look maxing type of thing.
Okay. So do you want me to give you explain to you my transformation basically? Like the
I mean that,
okay,
because that's what you, when you look at your Instagram, when you look
that's
at
what I'm
your
putting out.
TikTok, it's the main thing in there, right? But it's very like it's very cut and piece and bits, right? Like it's not really an explanation all in once. It's always like, oh, they told me
100%.
this, they told me that, all those little like, you know what?
Yeah.
Like the
So
gimmick.
I've made videos explaining certain things that I've changed, like my eye bags, my skin, my hair, my jaw. They're just a lot older, and I don't like repeating content. I like to make new content all the time, and it gets redundant. But I am gonna make new videos explaining and every single part. But you know, with my transformation videos, the pictures were taken very like a lot of pictures. I have a lot of pictures, man. I just compile them into an edit, and I'll try to show. But a lot of the videos you're gonna see are just like drastic before and afters, right? Like 2 years difference, 1 year difference, stuff like that. It started off with mewing. Found out about it in 2019, but you know, before that, I was going to the gym.
So 2019, we're like what? Like how old are you?
18, 17.
You're 17, okay.
Yeah. 17, 18, yeah. And I was going through, so I was doing the gym and everything, and I was like consistent. I was a gym rat, man. I was into like the Jeff Sides, this stuff, you know.
So
and then,
growing up, you're like very, like how your body was just like very skinny, or how was it?
Dude, I was skinny fat. Like I don't even look anything like, if you saw my body before, you'd be like, that's not the same person. And I should definitely post more videos about the gym, but I've been getting back into the gym and trying to reach a certain point where it's like I have credentials, you know, nothing like on roids, but you know, a lot leaner than what I am. But we're getting there, and so the gym came first, and I realized that I was gymming for the reason of just looking better, really, but also being confident. People were picking on me for my size. I was being bullied for it, and eventually.
So by that time, they're like, by that time you're already in the States, right? Like.
No, I was still there, man. 17, I was still in the Middle East.
So you're living in the Middle East, like.
I was living in the Middle East, yeah.
And then you're kind of like not happy with your body, and then you decided
I was being picked on for all kinds of things, but yeah, the main thing at the time was my body, right?
And then
I was
like
skinny
at
and
a
short.
kid, a kid young age, like, have you done any sports or you involved in
I
anything
was
like
the
that?
least man. I used to be in the gym class. I used to get picked last, like, and I was the least athletic. I didn't know how to jump rope. Nothing. Now it's completely different. Like if people
Yeah.
from my school would see me now, it's like I'm like a lot more on the athletic
So
side. Now I don't really do
so
sports,
you're
but
so you're a kid that we're not into sports, not doing anything, like,
because
just
my
pretty
family
much.
didn't my family never raised me with the idea of, you know, being all like into sports and being athletic and all that, despite them having like athletic backgrounds. Like my dad was into the gym, my mom was like gonna qualify for like the Syrian Olympics of being a swimmer and all that, but you know, long story
So
short,
you're
it didn't
never,
work out for
yeah,
both of them. So
you're never putting into sports at a young age.
no, they only told me to worry about my academics, which I still do to this day. You know, it's just like how I've been
Okay.
raised, but that's how our parents are.
Yeah.
So I started going to the gym and everything, transformed my body. It looked a lot better. And then I noticed, you know, I did have some positive feedback. Majority were from men. Um, and they'd still put me down for it in high school. But then moving
Yeah.
forward,
How was your routine at the gym? So you started like what, 17? You start going to the
started at
gym? No,
17. I was
before.
watching this guy named Brownie on YouTube. He was doing
Yeah.
calisthenics and whatnot. A very cool
Okay.
guy. I think he's in the Netherlands, but
Nice.
I got into it on my own. My mom was like, I wanted to do boxing at first. Then my mom was like, why don't you go to my gym? I'll get you membership there. It's like a minute away. So I went and I started lifting, and then I got into, at first it was the machines, you know, the cables and everything. And then I started going to calisthenics. But then I realized to build the best mass in the fastest time and strength and all that, I'd have to do weightlifting. So I started doing
Yeah,
calisthenics and
weightlifting.
weightlifting.
Yeah.
And then I stopped doing calisthenics, which is like the pull-ups and all that.
Yeah.
But I still do pull-ups and chin-ups, just not the muscle-ups and the crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And then I started putting on weight. You know, I started bulking, cutting, and then my body looked really good, but my face was chubby, man. Like I had like these plumps in my face and acne, and my hair was just bad. And I thought that the physique was more important than the face.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't think about style or the way I was presenting myself or the way that I was talking to people. And I started changing these things slowly. And the first thing I did was look at my skin. Um, I started doing all kinds of skincare. Some of it worked, some of it didn't. And then, of course, me and you, we both ended up taking Accutane. So we had our experience with that. It worked. And that was like the biggest change. Accutane swelled down my nose. It made my nose thinner. My features would stand out more because there
You did
wasn't
it
any more like
religiously because
pimples.
Hokuten is a hard one to do because
Dude,
you have to be very strict about it, and
I mean, in the Middle
then
East, you
it
pop it like
dries
candy, man.
it dries you up like
In the Middle East, you
crazy.
pop it like candy, bro. It's not like in
Yeah.
the US where you have to get blood tests and everything. But I took Accutane, and then I started, like, of course, I told you about the mewing, hair care. Started growing out my hair, and then I
What's
stopped using
mewing
product.
actually?
So, you know, the video that you posted, your mouth is closed, so you're not mouth breathing, right? Mewing is two things. It's putting the tongue on the roof of your mouth and creating a
Hmm.
suction, and tightening up the space in your mouth. So you're getting rid of the think of it like a box, and you're closing this box, and you're also tightening it up. That's what mewing is. So that's
Yeah,
why you might probably
I
do
guess
it without
we.
you knowing it. Yeah.
No, I guess me and Mitchell, we kind of like. I'm just asking you again because I'm just making sure what it is because
Oh,
this
okay.
what we
Yeah. Yeah.
found out what it is,
You're just
and
double
like,
checking.
and I guess I found out that I do mewing like 24/7 because I'm always with my tongue on top of my.
Dude.
Like,
Yeah, you
I
probably
guess.
do it naturally, bro. That's how you have to do it. But I never had that posture. I started working on it, man, and people will say that it doesn't work because, oh, it's impossible to change your face and you're getting older. But I was still 17, I was getting older. But to top that off, not only was I 17, 18, when you're closing your mouth, and you're mewing or whatever, you're also promoting breathing through your nose, which is super important for your health. Um, it'll affect the way your face grows. Look at the people that get older while mouth breathing, man, their faces, something's wrong with their side profile, and it affects the front as well.
Yeah,
And
there's probably
yeah,
something with that.
actually, speaking of mewing, I am going to be speaking with Dr. Mike Mew, the son of who created mewing,
Okay.
for like an interview, which will, it's not a podcast, but it's going to be on Mogwarts as well, because I have videos on there like of guests and all that. So it's interesting. I'm going to ask him some questions. Yeah,
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
for sure.
The science behind mewing.
I mean, I'm not too familiar with exactly how it works, but I was able to get the posture down. That's all I knew. And then I was like, okay, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. You know, you don't lose anything in doing mewing, right? In
Yeah.
partaking in that practice.
Okay.
The
Going
hard part
back
about
to
mewing isn't holding it, man. It's reminding yourself to keep doing it. So I found
yeah.
myself ways to remind myself to do it, and I kept looking out on my style as well. It changes that completely. At the time, it was like e-boy stuff and like graphic tees and all that. I'm kind of going back to that right now, but I did have like an era where I was doing like old money. But yeah, that was the biggest difference. And physique, hair, skin, eye bags, man. I had like huge eye bags. Started using Volufiline, sleeping better, sleeping on my back using like an airplane pillow to stop myself from moving and back and forth. Now I sleep on my back perfectly, like a baby. But at the time, I only used to sleep on my side.
What's the problem sleeping on your side?
So the problem with sleeping on your side is a couple
No,
of
but
things.
I want to know. Come on, that's what we
Okay,
hear.
I'll tell you. There's two things. So when you sleep on your side, one, and I think this is bigger than the other, your face is on the pillow, and if you haven't changed your sheets in one day, there's already a lot of bacteria on there, and it goes on your skin, and you're gonna get acne on that side more than the other.
Okay.
And two, your gravity does its thing every night, and you're essentially setting yourself up for failure when it comes to being symmetrical in the face. No one's ever perfectly symmetrical, and this is kind of like extreme, but dude, sleeping on my back is a lot more comfortable than sleeping on your side. And also, if you're in certain areas where you can't sleep on your side, like if you're used to sleeping on your right side and there's like, I don't know, someone sleeping next to you or something like that, like sometimes I was rooming with my brother at one point. Sleeping on your back is just a lot more convenient. Imagine you're both used to sleeping on the right side.
Sleeping on your back is terrible.
Dude, and then you're just like staring at each other. It's weird, you know?
Yeah. I mean,
it's not that big of a deal, but
I grew up sleeping on my belly, like always.
Yeah, I used to do that a lot, man. But yeah, you're putting your face on the...
My pillow had to be like the tiniest thing ever. And then out of nowhere, I just start sleeping on my side, but like I have to have a pillow.
It's very comfortable
between my legs. So I'm like,
that's what I
just kind of like, the whole time. But like I find myself always changing position the whole night. So I go from one side to the other. So I guess it's good. I guess like it's kind of like frying an egg.
Gravity's doing its thing.
Here's what I tell you, man. For sure, there's nothing. Honestly, it's like a small thing. It's not a big deal to sleep.
No, yeah, I get it. I get it. There are points.
You can see, I was just trying to find ways to improve, and I was testing things out.
Jazz would hate me if I sleep on my back because she would be like, "Shut the fuck up," because I would snore like crazy.
Yeah,
I don't snore, but if I go on my back, I will snore 100%.
For sure.
My mouth opens, I mouth breathe. So for me, it's worse if I sleep on my back.
So yeah, I mean that kind of proves that just because you mouth breathe while you're sleeping doesn't mean you're gonna have a bad jaw. Like you have obviously a great jaw. So like it's just like extra stuff that you could easily do. And I was experimenting with it, but you'll still catch me sleeping on my side every now and then. Like you were talking about the pillow in between your leg. Like I'll do that when I'm napping. Sometimes like when I really don't care. But yeah, majority of the time I'm sleeping on my back, and also like it's really just for the skin. That's what it is. Yeah. And the hair. I don't want to mess up the hair and all that, but we're men, so it's not like that big of a deal. But yeah. Moving on. Yeah, that's how it came to be. Transformation, majority of it, man, people have their own transformations and they don't realize it. Like you've done a lot of things to transform the way you look. You probably don't remember, like even Mitchell, but you just did not document it. And that's the biggest difference between me and the person who didn't document. It's like everyone has their own these glow ups, and my glow up isn't just me doing these things to look better, man. It's also the fact that I got older. So when I make these videos and I tell people, hey, like look at my before and after, it's not me just saying, oh yeah, you can transform the way you look. It's not that. It's to tell people to be patient with them aging, and the fact that they're not always going to look the way they do, and they're not always going to be dealing with pubescent acne. They're always going to be changing, and it's important to realize that, to understand how to be patient. Because if you showed me at 18 what I was going to look like, I would have been so like, okay, come on, let's get there. And you have to be patient. It's important.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a combination, right? Like I guess we're already been talking about that since the first episode of this podcast with Channel Pride, that like there is a moment in your life where you're gonna hit puberty, right? So like for some people it's earlier, for some people it's later, for some people lasts a lot longer, and for some people it's very quick, and like, but if you are in a community that you're already trying to better yourself while you're going through those transformations,
it helps. A positive community.
That helps for you to like improve yourself while you're doing it. But still, it's not gonna be night and day. Like you have to wait. Like you gotta be patient, just like what you
A
said.
lot of it are insecurities that people need to talk about. Like, in Mogwarts, I look at the conversations people are having, and it's just crazy. It's like things that I wish I never had a friend that I could talk to about my acne bothering me. I'd bring it up to girls that I was talking to at the time. Like, obviously it wasn't like now, but like they would like, oh, like, here's what I'll tell you. I had acne. I lost it from Accutane, and then I got acne again, and then I lost it again because I took Accutane again. So I took it twice. Now I got acne again, but I'm doing tretinoin and it's working. It's a cream. But I realized how when you get rid of this acne, what you're seeing and what you're doing is proving yourself. When you lose that acne, you're proving to yourself that despite this acne that you've lost, and then if you get it back, people are still gonna, I don't know how to explain it, but people are still gonna treat you the way they were treating you before, even with the acne. So when I lost my acne, man, you know, I was getting attention and I was talking to these people and they were treating me this way, and I was like, and then when I got acne again, they still treated me nicely. I was still getting the same treatment that I was getting before. Maybe they'll mention my acne if I point at it, but you realize that it wasn't that big of a deal. But of course, we still want to have clearer skin, for presentation purposes. But it's all about the mind. That's why at the end of the day, if someone is happy with the way they look and they're confident and they can take rejection, then I actually commend them. And I won't even tell them, oh, you should change this. No, I won't even say anything. It's not my place, But that's truly what people envy, which is people having their shit together and not giving a fuck, And people's priorities change, Chico. Like, people that are at our age, or my age, they're all about looks right now. But in the future, they're looking at money. They're looking at a man who can provide for his family, the way you are doing that right now. But priorities are always shifting. People that are in their environments will look to improve that certain thing that people are looking for to fit in, right? So I was improving the way I look to fit in, and now I'm doing something more like academic, because you got to fit in 2 years. Girls and men are looking for other people that are doing things that are a bit more, so it's important.
It's that's right. I mean, like a lot of times people have to, like you said, you have to have acne at first to feel insecure, to not have acne, to start feeling secure and having a good social circle. You realize have acne again to be realized that, like, wait, my social circle is still fine. Nobody's talking about my acne. Everything is good. And then you realize there's like, oh, the problem was not the acne. The problem was just my mental block.
Perfect. So, but I still think people should improve these things that they can control, so that they can really have the backing, the confidence to be like, okay, there's no difference. Because if you have that doubt in your head that says, oh yeah, if you didn't work on your style, if you still have acne, then this is why they're treating this way, then it's gonna hold you back. But once you realize that, like you gotta chase
what makes you feel better, right? Mentally and physically. So, like, if you have acne, that's gonna hold you down regardless. Like, if with new people, that's gonna hold you down. Or like if you have a social circle that it's already working out for you, having acne is not going to change. But if you go with something that's completely out of the box, completely out of the norm, that you've never been doing it, that's probably going to affect you again. So it all matters of of situation and time, but it is what it is.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, hey, are there any other questions? I think we did a really good recap here over like the things about.
I guess we can go back to the questions right now. Sure. Like, is your questions done? Can we go with the?
Yeah, forget about mine. I think I've already asked you a couple that weren't on the chart, but they cover a lot of them. So
okay, Mitchell,
we hit a lot of what we were asked. So I'm just gonna ask the ones that we didn't hit, because there was like looksmaxing, and then there's one that's kind of interesting, where it says, how many times do you get flirted on in a non-offensive way per day? Like, do people flirt with you for your looks, just because you look good? Or like,
I wouldn't say it's just my looks. I do get people flirting. Like, do you mean in person or through text?
Both text and in person.
I'll tell you, the guys are a lot more flirtatious, especially nowadays with the whole looksmaxing thing. They know when a guy has good hair now, and I think it's good for people that have improved themselves. So, there's definitely a bigger benefit now when you improve the way you look than before, because people are realizing that, hey, like looking good is now like this social power or whatever. But a lot of people that flirt are the ones that recognize me from TikTok, so they could be doing so because they know me from TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think they're flirting with me for the way I look. I think they're flirting with me because of the person that I am, right? Um, when I
I guess
shave,
it's
especially
because
when I
it's
shave,
like
like
they're familiar with you because you're a familiar face.
yeah. Um, eh, some of them will lie and say they don't know me, but it's kind of obvious. Like, they're just like they know things that I didn't tell them about, and they're like, I'm like, what, how do you know that? And I think Chico can kind of maybe a little bit relate when he's out in public. I don't know, when he was younger, at least for sure.
No.
With people treating him differently, but it's night and day, man. Like when I was 18, nothing, no
Nobody would
notifications.
look at you.
I'd go outside the house, man. I was invisible, and that's what it is. It's not being below average that hits people. It's being invisible because it's just as bad.
Yeah.
And so,
But do you find yourself like being able to control when you want to look visible, when you want to look invisible?
it's hard because my lifestyle hasn't shifted completely, and I don't want it to, because I still
Yeah.
love going to a public gym and seeing people that are there and paying $20 a month for a gym. That's just amazing. Even
No,
less.
but what I'm saying,
And-
what the question is like, because I find very easily to kind of like portray myself outdoors in a way that I don't want to get a lot of attention. And then at the same time, if
Yeah.
I want to portray myself out there and be like, hey, I want to get attention, I want people looking at me because I want to feel better.
I mean, it could be the way you present yourself. So obviously, if you're alone, you're probably gonna get confronted more. If you're wearing glasses, they can't really see what you look like.
I mean, presentation, like
presentation, yeah.
like
Body language, yeah.
in the where you going situation and the way you carry yourself, the way you even like the way you're doing your facial structure, if you're meowing or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I agree. Like, if you look more happy, more
Mewing, sorry.
presentable, if you
Yeah.
have your headphones in and you're like looking all angry and you're just walking around, man, people aren't gonna confront you.
If you're
And
throwing
the thing
shades,
is-
throwing looks. I mean, there are many ways that you can actually like. There's many ways that you can actually. Sometimes I try just by like, just to fuck around. Sometimes I go outside and I just
you're just
like
angry looking.
try to look more like sexually attracted to
Oh
people.
wow. Okay.
And then people just respond. People respond to like, oh my god, this guy is so pretty. But then like if I just don't want to look whatever, I just change my
100%.
I just change the way I carry myself. People
You just-
couldn't give a fuck. Who the fuck is this guy?
No,
Sometimes
100%.
they
No,
even
I
think
agree
I'm
with you.
there to steal them.
People think
Like-
that just because you look good doesn't, you're not gonna look good 24/7. And this is
No,
coming from a
of course
model,
not.
the number one model, like the male model that you guys are all looking up to, and even me. I talk all about looks. When we go out and you're not trying, it's
Nobody's
very
gonna
hard.
care.
No one
Nobody's
really
gonna
cares.
care.
No.
It's-
But when you put a little bit more effort, you're going out, you're with a
Yeah.
smile, you're wearing some nice clothes,
Yeah.
you're talking to people around you, you have your headphones off, you're gonna be confronted. That's
Oh
just how
yeah,
it is. And
big time. Yeah, if
especially
you
when
put
you're with like
effort,
when they're
you'll
with a
do it.
group of people, like when they're a group of friends, they will say things they wouldn't say if they were alone. They
Yeah,
will, I don't know if you realize, Chico, like that those two kids that came up to you today, they wouldn't have done that if they were alone, maybe. But because there were two, and there's a group of people, they're more likely to engage with you. So
yeah, of course,
for sure.
Okay, next question.
Next question is, have you ever done an ice bath?
Yes. And I was actually looking forward to continuing to do so here because I live in a dorm. It's hard for me to do an ice bath. But before I was staying with my sister for a little bit, I was doing that with my brother-in-law. It was like a weekly thing because honestly, it's very tough. And I'm surprised there's people that do on a daily. I don't know about Chico, but maybe because he's doing the cycling stuff. So, but
Yeah, I was doing on a weekly basis, but then I
yeah,
stopped.
dude, it's a lot. Like setting it up is the hard part, I would say.
Yeah.
Because especially in my dorm, I'd have to like get an inflatable and put it outside. I was considering doing it and then like doing like a weekly thing where I'd like film a video of me in one. I still might do that. I don't know. I think it's very interesting. People like you don't see that scrolling on your phone, right? Like so.
Yeah,
But for mental health, cold showers, man, they do the trick. So
yeah, it's a great thing. It became a little annoying, people doing it and promoting it.
left and
but
right, yeah. It's like
It's a great thing. You can't fuck with it. It's good like sauna, cold bath. It's good.
Yeah,
Do it.
sauna as well.
If
That's
you have
more
the chance to
accessible
do
in
it.
the gym.
Okay, next question. I think this is for Shiko. How do you react when? How do people react when you tell them that you're a model? I mean, do people assume that you're a model already?
It depends. Depends on the person I'm talking with. Like if they ask me, like for example,
What
like
do you do?
randomly, Uber driver, I'm there and I'm talking about like I'm just like talking about what I'm doing, like my life and travels, and they're like, "Wait, what do you do?" It's like, "Oh, I'm a model." Most people don't even know what model do. Like they ask like, "Oh, like what?" I was like, "Oh," then I have to explain like, magazines, like
It's a huge
like
industry, yeah.
stores, like fashion show. Like there are many things that you can do as a model, and then I just don't like, it all depends. Some people they're into the industry, they know more. Most of the people they have no idea, so you have to explain them what it is. That's it. Even people that are
Nice.
like they're actually like even people that used to be in the industry but then kind of gave up very quickly, but now they're in a different industry but it's close to modeling, so they still model, for example, actors or whatever. They still think models cannot like make good money just because they couldn't, but they could as an actor.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, no, man, you just failed. Sorry. It's kind of like,
Yeah.
but yeah, you can actually like have a very good life as a model if you actually know what you're doing. But like,
If you're doing it the right way. I think everyone
yeah,
kind of like puts it down and says it's just about your looks when there's whole lot more to it. Like you have to
it's a
position
lot.
yourself.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah, I
lot.
mean, you
There's a
did a
lot
great
of
job,
people
and
involved.
for
It's a
sure.
lot of people involved. So
The same thing with
it's
social media, man. People are like, "Oh yeah, he just got famous because he looks better now." Like dude,
yeah,
people don't care about like your looks can help, but on social media, your looks alone are not gonna get you somewhere. Like even for instance, Vinny Hacker. I don't know if you know him. He's like a huge TikToker. He looks good. Girls love him. The thing is, everyone's like, "Oh yeah, he's just famous because of the way he looks." No, bro, that guy positioned himself and he made it so that he made it there. Like it takes a lot of work, and at first I would have
yeah, it
thought that
does.
too. Same thing about
Yeah,
modeling, man. But there's so much more into it in the background of things, and
yeah,
you think, oh, he's just recording himself looking good. No, it's like he's timing it, when to post it, how to post it, what audio, all this sort. Of course, looks helps you the same way it helped
yeah,
you, me, Vinny Hacker, right?
yeah.
So
I need somebody to teach me how to do stuff like this.
social media.
Yeah,
I
I'm not
got you, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you have my phone number.
good. Yeah,
That
you're
post that we
my
did, I don't know how.
K
Let's see.
Shami.
Actually, let me see the numbers on this thing,
K
man.
Shami, you're
Yeah.
my
How is it
coach now.
doing?
Yeah.
I'm not paying you, by the way. I'm not paying for
No,
it, but
don't worry about it, bro. Free of
I
charge.
want
Yeah.
free coach.
800,000 views in 4 hours, bro.
800,000.
800,
You see,
141,000
look,
likes, man.
because like K like we're like, okay, we're gonna promote it, and then K is like, oh, we can do something the same thing that you did with Sean, and I was like, yeah, we can do that, and then K was like, oh, but I have a better idea, and then he started telling me this that. I was like, bro, I don't know about that. I'm gonna look stupid. I'm gonna look like a dick. I was like, no. Trust me, man. Trust me. He's gonna work. Like
I
it's just a
think
joke. I was like, okay. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Like you don't want to do this stuff like this. Let's just go with the flow. I'll do it. I don't care. Like it's not gonna change my life. It's just gonna be
yeah.
one post. And we're doing a podcast right after, just like what you said. We probably just gonna talk. So yeah, let's do it. Let's see what happens. And then like K Shami took over the whole like post. He told me exactly what you do, what you comment, what like everything. I was like, okay, bro,
Yeah.
let's do your magic. Let's see if it's gonna work out.
I
And
think it
it's
works
doing
out
it.
well.
It's
And people
working
know it's a
out.
joke. I think they're playing into it,
Yeah,
and it's
They
more
love
like
it.
I'm more into the whole looksmaxing thing. What's happening on TikTok was trending. You kind of like you're not really into that stuff, and then also like I'm all about the social media aspect of things I have on the back of my hand. So yeah, I kind of knew what you should have posted, and
yeah,
I think your stuff already does really good with or without that skill. Like you obviously know how to position yourself, man. Like I've seen your videos. You do like the voiceovers and you position the camera and the vlogs. Very cool, very cool.
I tried.
Stay
try
an
my
open book.
best.
That's what I'll tell you. Don't do what I'm doing. Don't do like a niche.
Yeah.
Maybe like post here and now and there, just to like hint at it. People, I think they'll love it.
Yeah, I have to. That's the thing. I have to feed the beast, right? So I have to
Yeah,
do. I have to do little things that
this is
like
what
I
you're
don't
like
want to
known
do
for
it.
right now. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I.
things that I don't want to do it, but I still have to do it just because, like, there is a niche out there for it. Okay, next question.
At least for now, yeah.
Next and last question. It says, it's just about runway. So it's like, were you ever scared of doing the runway, and have you tripped on the runway?
No, I was never scared. I mean, it's a nice feeling though. I like the feeling. It's a thrill feeling, like I said before. I never tripped. Actually, that was one time that I slipped because it was very. I don't remember. That was yeah. I mean, no, it's all been good times, good old times. I mean, I'm going back to the fashion week. Let's see if I get some shows. People are asking.
That's
like,
awesome.
oh, Chico, like, why you don't model anymore? It's like, bitch, it's not because I'm not in the runaway means I don't model. It's like, I'm still modeling. It's just that, you don't see me in the runaway.
It's not the same, yeah. But hey, you can get some content out of there. That's going to be cool.
Yeah, that's what our plan. Me and Mitchell.
Where's that going to be? Where's the fashion week? Is
in June. Men's fashion week is January and June.
Cool.
But now, since I stopped, they kind of start mixing shit up. They start mixing,
it's like all over
girls and guys, and like brands start doing shows in like middle of nowhere for no fucking
I have a question
reason.
actually. Speaking of modeling, I think this is people that are kind of like wanting to get your take on it. Would you say that modeling, like the industry, has gone to shit compared to before? Like when it comes to the inclusivity and all that, which I'm all for, but it's changed. People are like the older days, like the era of when I think towards the end of it was where you came out.
Yeah, I mean,
would you say it's changed?
in ways that opened up more possibilities for everybody, but in other ways, yeah, it went to shit big time.
Yeah,
like modeling is not the same as before. Like you're not like a young guy in your hometown. You get scouted, and then the next thing you have to do, you go to a big agency, and then that big agency puts you in the fashion week
on the map. Yeah.
And then the fashion week's gonna get you recognized with brands, and then from after that you start doing castings, and actually castings book your job, and then you build a career like this. That doesn't exist anymore. Unfortunately, that doesn't exist anymore. It's very hard for you to do that. Before, that was the only way for you to do it. For the only way for you to become a model and have a career, that was the way. That was the blueprint, right? Nowadays, with social media, there's many other ways, but there's no way, because like now brands don't really know who they want to book. They're casting for many things at the same time. Actual modeling jobs nowadays pay less than like influential posts. Marketing is different. Modeling did went to shit. Like, but still a good career. It's still something that you can still pursue as a career. But you have to be able to navigate all these other things that it's now. Unfortunately, it's something that you can run away from. You just can't.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on body positivity? That kind of movement. What are your thoughts?
As long as it's healthy. If it's not healthy, I'm not for it.
I completely agree. I think like the people that have like features that are, whether it be like, I don't know, deformities or any sort of thing, I think that's perfectly fine. And I think that is great. And I think it's beautiful. The people that are promoting unhealthy things, like just like having being overweight and
there's some overweight people that they're very healthy. There's some people that are a little chubby here and there, but they're very healthy people.
That's fine. Yeah, I'm talking about like the grotesque, crazy stuff.
There's a problem when there's somebody that is out there saying like body positivity, but at the same time that person is not healthy at all and is not really like helping the community. Like you don't look good, you look bad, and you're telling people to eat shit. So like that's not good. That's fuck good, your body positive, and that's not good.
I agree.
But there's people that they have hard time to lose weight. They are a little chubby. They are large people, but they're very healthy. They actually promote the right thing. Then that's fine. Like I have friends that bike with me. They're much heavier. They look chubbier. Like you could say that
they're still
like,
healthy and they're striving towards betterment.
You could say that they are like a plus size model. In a way, they're not models, but you could say they're plus size, but they bit me out. Like they bit me up like big time in the
Well,
cycling.
I
They
cycle,
have
yeah.
much better heart, much better
Stamina.
health, much better stamina. They eat better than
Imagine
me.
if they got their stuff and sorted out. I mean, like,
And just because I look better and I look skinnier and my body's more like in shape,
yeah,
that doesn't mean I'm healthier than them. Actually,
for sure. There's more of a
But-
correlation, like,
yeah,
but still, there's gonna be
yeah.
outliers.
So
and
you can't judge the book by
respect
their
that.
cover. That's what I'm saying. But at the same time, the whole idea of body positivity for me is exactly that. You cannot judge them like just because the way they look, but at the same time, you can't promote things that are unhealthy. That's the only thing that
For sure.
that I'm not up for. Yeah, man. I think, man, we hit 1 hour and 50 minutes. We're up
Yeah,
to 2
that's
hours.
a long time. I mean, it flew by. We had some good conversations.
Yeah,
That's all the questions, and
that's the magic of podcast, and especially the magic of podcast that you're not like noting. It's like, oh, like let's do, like, I'm gonna ask you this question, you ask this. Like, there's nothing programmed here. We're just talking. The conversation flowed. We had a good talk. I think you answered my questions. I still want to, like, maybe like up later in the future when you're up for whatever other thing that's happening, because this thing changing like all the time. We can get back here and talk more
for
about it.
sure, man. I mean,
I'm up for it.
you have my number, and
Yeah, I think you're a cool guy. You know, sorry about like if we ever had like people had like mixed like
No
feelings
worries,
about
man.
our relationship, thinking that I didn't like you or you were like messing up with me or shit like this.
There was a part that was, in a very joking manner when we were live,
Yeah.
and you were like, "Oh, get Shami," whatever. I was like, I found it funny, but at the end of the day, I knew like you immediately consulted with me and told me that it
Yeah,
wasn't
it
anything
was
like
just
that.
me. It's just like what me and me should say. It's just be me, like very
Yeah,
unfiltered,
I
kind of
mean,
like. It's like okay, people, like fuck it. It's like I already read K Shami 500 million times.
I know, no, don't worry. Like it's one of the reasons why I don't go live too often. It's very repetitive.
Yeah.
It gets redundant, and I don't blame you for it. I thought it
Yeah.
was a funny post, and hey, I mean, it brought us here on this podcast, and at the end of the day, more
It's
laughs.
just like with Adrenaline Lima. People keep saying Adrenaline. It's like, people.
Oh god, yeah.
Stop.
What do you want me
This
to
guy's
do
a
with
married
Adrenaline
man,
Lima,
and
for
they're asking
fuck's sake?
about.
I work with her. I know her, but like that's not gonna change my relationship with Adrenaline. So now shut the fuck up about it. I don't care. It's kind of like, stop it. It's
Yeah,
bothering me. But yeah. But anyways, it was a great talk.
Awesome.
Thanks for
man.
doing this again.
Of
You
course,
have
man.
any, like, I mean, I guess we covered that, but you have anything that you're gonna want to promote it out there, like your Mogwarts, all the stuff?
I mean, we already spoke about it. It's pretty self-explanatory. I have to do my own part of making a video explaining it and showing people what Mogwarts is truly about. I think that the other side of the community is kind of tarnishing it, and I mean, I hope to do more videos and be more open like Chico, make more videos about my charity, and be more of like an open book and show myself more. And this podcast was probably like my first step in that opportunity. My content usually doesn't convey this sort of character. It's very niche down.
Yeah, man.
Open
doors.
Thank you for thank you.
You do have you do have an Instagram too, huh? That you don't really use it that much.
I do have an Instagram. I barely use that thing, but I will be more active on there. And I am starting
What's your
YouTube.
handle?
I'm gonna do like a long form content. It's Syrian Psycho. Same thing as my TikTok.
Syrian Psycho.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, go follow K Shami on Instagram too.
Appreciate
There's
it,
a lot
man.
more
Honestly,
up and personal over there.
Yeah, I am posting more stories on there, and honestly, thank you. It's an honor being on here, and same here with Mitchell. I mean, I spoke with Mitchell a while back, and it's really nice to have all of us here and just discussing that. Yeah,
good to meet you.
It was nice meeting you, man.
You see,
okay, we'll schedule something else.
Bad guy, like you guys are saying.
People will. I mean, it's the content and the people, just not giving, like, hating on just the niche that it is, right? So
it's social media, man. Social media, it's something that it doesn't really show the true colors of the person, right?
For sure.
Like it's especially on TikTok, and especially what you're doing, that you're trying to get attention on videos that it's you can't really show yourself, like you said. So like it's hard to read the person, and like now we break the ice. Now everybody knows.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'm
all right,
glad,
guys.
man. Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
See ya.
See ya.